Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Source of Food, and this is the channel where we talk about childhood memories. Memories as they were back in the 60s and the early 70s, and touching back into the 80s a little bit, a time when I grew up. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, so stick around. If you're happening on this channel for the first time and you like what you're hearing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, hit that notification bell, because guess what? We have a lot to talk about. All right. So today I want to talk about, a little misadventure, so to speak. So back in the day, right? My grandmother, she used to go to the fishing village. I would call it, she got on a bay. Sometimes she never got back until late. When I say late, it was getting dark, right? And that was the time she was like putting on the pot. She started cooking, making dinner for us. We're at home, we're hungry, and we're just craving to have some of those nice, delicious, fresh fish coming from, the fishing bay, as we would call it. Yeah, but sometimes she never got back in until quite late. And back in the 60s, 70s then, the time when I grew up, we never had electricity. There were no electricity in my little surroundings, right? As a matter of fact, for most of the village or the community, never had electricity. What are you talking about? Electricity. So, the kitchen bitch, you might have heard me mention that name before on the channel, or the bottle torch was the order of the day in terms of having some light in the kitchen to eat. So as kids we would, sit patiently until she, when she get home and, sort out the fish and, whatever other produce she would have for dinner, she would get it prepared, some yam, all kind of yam, some dumpling, some sweet potato, and whatever she had. And then by the time dinner came around, we were quite hungry, quite happy to eat whatever was prepared. So, not having light, not having, proper lighting, at home in those days, that was a bit of a challenge. We would just sit outside under the bright moonlight if it's a moonlit night and eat sometime. Just sit outside on a rock, because, like you've heard me mention before, during those times, the kitchen was not on the house. The kitchen was away from the house, so to speak. Yeah. And when the dinner was ready, we'd just sit outside on a rock, and we would enjoy our dinner. So having fish at night, that can be a challenge. You had to be careful. No matter how careful you were, there was that distinct possibility or chance that you could get a fish bone stuck in your throat. Because it's not like we were having salmon or those big kind of fish. We had the regular parrot fish, the eel, just most of the common fish, now and then a few snappers, but generally the common fish, not the expensive fish that you would buy in the supermarkets here. Yeah, so no matter how careful you were, eating outside under, with minimal lighting, there was a possibility that a fish bone could get stuck in your throat. And That has happened to me in so many occasions, man. So many occasions. But we developed a little strategy because we know, we have had that experience and we know that that's a possibility. Whenever we get our food or dinner, if we had that piece, if we got two dumpling or two pieces of yam or whatever kind of hard food produce or whatever you want to call it, we made sure that we had a piece left over before, and what I'm trying to say, we made sure we had a piece left behind, right? Because in a situation where you got a little piece of fish bone get stuck in your throat, in your esophagus going down, you would have that piece of dumpling or the piece of yam to push it down, so to speak. So that was our strategy. That was our strategy. So many times, my grandma would come home from the fishing village, man, or come home from bay at night, and she cooking, and she serve us dinner. We're hungry, and we just get down into the fish, get down into the dumpling and the yam and the fish and the yam, the steamed fish and the yam and the banana and the cocoa and the dashing or whatever it was, and you get down into the fish, man, and by the time you blink, you made a mistake of swallowing a sharp piece of fish bone, and that gets stuck in your throat. It's one of the worst experiences, especially when it just won't move. It's a very bad experience. It's not something that most people would wanna encounter. A sharp bone gets stuck in your throat. Oh my goodness. So, like I said, that's what we did. If we were not able to carve, if we weren't able to carve it out, to get it out, we made sure we had our backup. Our backup plan was to, save a piece of the yam or the dumpling, to push it down. We would just chew on the piece of yam, or that piece of dumpling. We would not masticate it out so that it's, we would just chew on it a couple of times so that small enough so that it won't choke you, but still big enough so that when you're swallowing it, it can push away that bone that got stuck in your throat. Yeah. So those were some adventurous times as kids, eating at night outside, practically in the dark. Oh my goodness. Whoa, I'd like to hear your story though. Have you ever had that experience with fish bone getting, stuck in your throat? Yeah, I mean, did you ever have to eat outside at night in the under the moonlight, in less than substantial lighting, practically in the dark at times? What was life like for you back then? I mean, did you have electricity? Perhaps you did. But what was it like for you? If you're from a country where people eat a lot of fish, have you ever had fish bones getting caught in your throat? How did you deal with it? My method was to have a piece of produce, piece of food, to push it down. What method did you had to get that fish bone out of your throat? Tell me about it. Right? All right, so that's all I have to talk about today. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that the next time I drop a video, you're notified. All right. So until we talk again, this is Source of Food. Take it easy, man, and stay safe. Okay. Cool.